gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Turn up the bass. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the hub city in Indiana. He goes by @TooSweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Turn up the bass. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM Kyle Gagliardi. And joining me is my good friend Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
What's going on, I tried to kind of give the physical emotion without the volume per se. We got Augie napping in the room behind me, but it's Kyle, it's James, and it's Ian, the full-time part-timer. Ian, sup, dog?
What's up, dog? I could be a little bit louder here. Listen to this. Yeah!
The audio listeners probably despise you now.
Oh, sorry.
Dog's not loving it.
Shelby's not happy about it. But, yeah, no, I could be a little bit louder over here. I'm having a good weekend. A little bit tired. Well, it's not the weekend anymore. It's Monday.
It is Monday. The days don't make sense, honestly, this time of the year. And I'm sure it's more confusing for Tuck because he's off. You're off work, right?
I'm on break. It's all starting to blend together. Week 2. So it has not flown by. It has felt nice. So
that's good for you.
On many fronts, yeah.
Doing a lot of stuff with Tucker Talks Turf, which, by the way, guys, if you're not following his page, go ahead and do so. He's doing some great things over there. Yeah, I love that. You got the LA Knight cadence and everything for that.
Well, some of the best wrestlers' gimmicks were inspired by others, and LA Knight doesn't follow me on any of the platforms yet, so still waiting on that. But, yeah, WWE all day, every day. Tucker Talks Turf. Yeah.
Well,
there is one on one video, one of the 96 videos. There is a after.
Oh, I didn't catch that one. I'm going to have to go digging and find it. But I do know it was Christmas time last week. It wasn't a great Christmas for me. I came down with the flu, and we had to reschedule things because we originally were talking about doing a show on Friday to preview AEW World's End, but here we are recapping it for the final podcast of 2025. And since it was Christmas last week, I'm curious, boys, what did we get? What did Augie get? Because I'm sure there was some wrestling-inspired gifts. So, Tuck, let us know what the youngster got over there.
Yeah, so Augie got hooked up. He got a ton of clothes, obviously, but he got the Money in the Bank ring.
Hell yeah.
He got Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Roman Reigns, MJF, world champion.
Ooh, okay.
We'll talk about it. And then we were shopping at Ross for one thing, and I'm like, we got to go look at the toys because sometimes they've got figures. And he bulked up his women's division with a Red Velvet and a Jade Cargill, $4 a piece. So we threw those on top. And then Mia, my sister-in-law, her boyfriend Tyler, hooked him up with a Bianca Belair figure.
Oh, yeah.
The women's division got stronger. They also gifted him a small Knuckle Crunchers ring. Have you seen those? The little small guys.
Yeah, like the little 2-inch figures. Yeah.
And they come with he's got a little small ring, and it's the WrestleMania Hollywood. They found it at a thrift store, and that was the one we went to. So I thought that was pretty cool. So he's got a little travel ring he can take with Cody, Roman, and Seth in a stretcher. And so he is through the moon. He loves it because the Money in the Bank ring's got a bell that you press and it can count and kick out and throw the ladder. And so he just beats the shit out of it a lot. And just
That's what you got to do.
Hammer down. And it's if it makes it to his birthday, I'll be surprised. The ring, the work.
If not, I think we could pitch in and get him a new ring over here. I think the OTM community would gladly give Augie a new ring. But Ian, you get any wrestling related Christmas gifts this year?
I did not. I guess I did. So I got a tumbler, brand new tumbler. Shout out to
that's
Brittany.
right.
She might be watching, but I got some wrestling stickers, kind of old school, and I sticker bombed the crap out of the tumbler. So
You did.
yeah, so that's
looking good.
it. Wrestling.
I think you guys already saw what I got, that John Cena farewell Funko. Don't know how my mom pulled that off because apparently those are really hard to get. I saw at some like wrestling conventions that farewell Funko is going for $75. Donna told me she got it for $25. So good on her for getting me that.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Usually I know what I'm getting at this age. I feel like we all, kind of expect the gifts that we're going to get from our parents, but that one really shocked me, and it made my Christmas a little bit better because, as you guys know, it wasn't that great of a week for me. But Eric,
improvement.
it did. We were back in the gym today, so everything's good. Everything's normal over here. And OTM on a Monday, yes, Eric, believe it, because Thursday is New Year's Day, and my Hoosiers have a very important game, Ian. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're in the playoffs. They're undefeated. They're kind of good at football.
I was gonna say I know they're good at basketball. I didn't know they were good at football.
Football school now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is actually insane.
Never thought in my life
Hey.
I'd be saying that.
At least you got one of your teams to cheer for for football.
Hey, my other
High
football
hopes.
team's going to be in the playoffs.
That's true. That's true. Maybe.
There's other teams out there that can't say the same thing.
That is true. That is true.
But hey, congrats to your Bears and other Bear fans out there. They finally won the division. First time since 2018 when I had hair. So, yeah, that goes to show you it's been a while. You guys are feeling good, aren't you?
Yeah. Even after this week, tough loss, but it was a good game.
Yeah.
That's enough football talk.
Geez, kind way to be depressing. His first Christmas being treated like an adult, and it was awful. A girl I'm close with got me the Usos pop vinyl, though. Ooh. That's good. That's a good catch right there. Playoffs. You want to talk about the playoffs? Yeah, Eric. We're talking about the playoffs over here. It's pretty crazy. Kind, the MVM of the year, by the way, 2 times. He said he got a Nick and Matt Jackson pair of figures. Ooh. Very fitting. And Eric, you didn't know this? Come on, man. Biggest cheesehead around in Northwest Indiana, at least.
He's an owner.
I am an owner. A lot of people can say that, but I'm one of them. But hey, guys, we do have a sale going on at our merch store right now. So if you head to the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com, use the promo code 2025, you will save 10%. Ian's showing off the holiday sweater. Tuck, what else do we got to offer at that merch site?
We've got tapestries, we've got coffee mugs, we've got T-shirts, we've got long sleeve T-shirts. I would presume that's correct. We've got embroidered hats. I need a hat.
You do.
I am very particular about hats, but I think those hats are solid.
You'd enjoy this hat.
Yeah, we both got the black ones, and it's on the site, dude. So
I got a cop.
There you go. Get it before the year ends. The new year is coming. Make sure you're following us at Pod on the Mark on X and IG to keep up with us. We are the official sponsor of Warrior Wrestling's Ice Cold happening January 16th. We are just 3 weeks away from that event. We just found out that Timothy Thatcher will be taking the place of Warhorse, which thoughts and prayers go out to Warhorse, who sustained an injury a couple weeks ago. But what a fill-in, boys, for our show. Not only do we have a 3-time OTME nominee, Bandito, participating on this card, but now we have former NXT superstar Timothy Thatcher. Pretty cool stuff.
Are you guys going to the show, you two?
Mm-hmm. We'll be there. We're going to have a table. We're going to bring the tapestry. We don't have business cards, so I don't know how I'm going to tell people about our podcast. Just at Pod on the Mark.
So these are my business cards for Tucker Talks Turf. It's got a QR code on the back that sends them to a link tree that gives all the socials. We'll
like
chat.
This QR code right here?
Yeah. Yep.
And that, you think you can get it to me in 2 weeks, though?
Yep. I think you can order it and it'll get to you in 2 weeks.
Hell yes.
There.
Those tickets are still on sale, by the way, so anybody that lives in the Chicagoland area.
What's the location?
Half Acre Brewery. They just did their last show there, so they're running it again. But man, quite the card. And we're going to have Sam Beal on the show the week of and talk to him because he has a match with Joey the Jet Avalon. But we're not here to talk about Warrior. We're here to talk about AEW World's End. So I say we jump into it with the first match that was officially on the card, and it was a Continental Classic matchup between Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. You can't really start better than the way these two started, exchanging finishers back and forth, Tuck. We've seen these two go at it before. I mean, two of the best that they have to offer in AEW, and this match was one of probably my two favorites on the card. Just a great start, and Okada winning, I think, was probably the right call in this situation.
Well, how much of a rocket can you put on Takeshita with him when he won the G1 as well, didn't he?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, and so for me, I thought it was a great match. I picked Takeshita to win. Like night of, I'm like, I think Takeshita's got this. Because did we go? I don't think we went over our picks.
No, we didn't talk picks at all.
Yeah, and so that was kind of my feeling. But they want Okada to be something.
Oh, he definitely is something,
and he is. That's what I'm saying. Like early on, he was in some goofy stuff, but now Okada is on one.
I think that was a critique, too, for a lot of AEW fans, Ian, when he first came over, is that he was kind of being treated as a comedy act. Those elements are still, I think, there within Okada's character right now, but I like what Tuck's saying. We're definitely getting the real Okada, I think, now in AEW.
Well, and that's kind of the beauty of the Continental Classic. So first off, like you said, with Okada being kind of treated like a joke, he has to, in a sort of way with the U.S. market. The whole, like, serious wrestler thing does not work. You'll give the wrestler praise on the internet, but it's not going to work for live crowds just because they're really good at wrestling, especially in a company like AEW. So having that personality was needed for Okada, and I think it's done wonders. Like just the middle finger pose in general was honestly all really he needed. I think just the beauty of the Continental Classic is the fact that we're all sports guys. Not every wrestling fan is a sports guy. Football. We remember the Patriots absolutely running rampant. Now it's Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, not anymore, but same thing. That was the dynasty, and now we can think back on the Continental Classic. The entire reasoning for Okada keeps going in advancing to the championship is because it's the Okada reign. He's Mr.
He's a tournament wrestler.
Yeah, and you want to cheer against him because you don't want to see him win again because it's boring. And then you have a guy, we'll talk about the match next, is like Jon Moxley, where it's like, oh, this guy was sucked at the beginning. Like, you could think of the round robin tournament as the regular season.
Sure.
And he sucked going into it. And then everybody's like, oh, he's going to lose out every single match. Well, now he runs rampant, barely squeaks by because that's the round robin. That's the rules.
And he's a heel.
And slowly turned face just from being good at wrestling and telling a story with how it was booked. And this was probably my favorite Continental Classic, and I think it's going to keep getting better.
I would agree with you there.
Because we keep getting these stories out of the Continental Classic, and for a sports fan, like I was talking about, like those little stories, they don't have to say it on screen, but you're thinking in the back of your head, Kyle Fletcher keeps losing in the semifinals. Is he going to come back next year and finally break that barrier? And they talk about that a little bit, but that's what I love about this Continental Classic, and it comes at a really good time where it's kind of a down-low period of wrestling.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It is at the perfect time because WWE really doesn't have their pedal on the metal right now. And now this gives AEW fans something to look forward to every year. And that was something I think I was critical of at the beginning, is that me personally, just my fandom, tournaments usually don't do it for me. That doesn't excite me because exhibition in professional wrestling is kind of weird because it's a predetermined result. But nonetheless, AEW, I think, has found their sweet spot and how to book things. This match here, starting it off because the Continental Classic was really the focal point going into World's End. Perfect way to get things going here. I would say it was my match of the night, maybe. And then again, I could probably say that about this next one too. But Tuck, was there anything else from this one you wanted to touch on?
A strong contender for match of the night, but there were a few other matches throughout the rest of the card that almost made you forget it with how long this show is, which I actually didn't think this show was like forever long.
It didn't take that long.
To have 10 matches on it.
A little under 4 hours, I think it was.
I had 5 in my head, I think. And so it was nice the way that it timed out because Augie was preparing for bed right before the main event. So I just transitioned to sleep mode. It was great. But that match was awesome. I think, top 2, top 3. We'll talk about this next one. I'm interested.
Yeah, for sure.
I am just interested in seeing, obviously, we'll talk about it with the next match with the whole Don Callis family. You had 3 of the members of the Don Callis family in the semifinals. Now, what do we do with Takeshita, who's obviously got the babyface momentum behind him?
Babyface.
So I don't know if they turn him or I don't know. I think it adds a good kind of wrinkle into the Don Callis family, which they continue to do somehow, even though they just have giant superstars within the
Even
faction.
though everybody's in it, yeah. But they are still somehow finding a way to make it all work, and it's that continuity between everything and bleeding into storytelling as well, which was a critique that you would see from the casual, maybe WWE lifer that would tune into AEW on occasion. Oh, they don't tell stories. You could argue that AEW told the better stories in 2025, I think. I don't think there's disputing that, honestly.
I would agree.
Well, I look at the current WWE champions and what's going on right now, and look at AEW. I think AEW, when they did the video package about all the Sports Illustrated awards they won, I didn't really disagree with a ton of them. You know what I mean?
Well, and they took majority of the OTMEs too.
Well, and the differences that we had, and some of them, their PLE of the year, ours was Revolution, theirs was Double or Nothing. Those are 2 great shows.
Yeah.
And there were 3 or 4 other great shows.
Yeah, and every one of these shows has multiple match of the year candidates, usually, like Jon Moxley versus Kyle Fletcher, another Continental Classic matchup here. You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, Ian, but Kyle Fletcher didn't win this one dirty, or lose this one dirty. He didn't tap out. He was choked out by Jon Moxley here, so that's a way to Kyle Fletcher going into next year's Continental Classic. That's at least the way I looked at it, Ian, and I thought this match in ring, probably the match of the night for me.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. This match was absolutely fantastic from the start, and just the idea of Jon Moxley versus Kyle Fletcher didn't really ring that for me. This wasn't on my, I can't wait to watch this match, but boy, was I wrong, because it felt like a big fight. Kyle Fletcher still has that kind of rookie aura to him still, which him losing this match does not hurt him whatsoever. It just honestly builds him a little bit more, especially for next year in the Continental Classic. And the way he lost on checking for that screwdriver that was supposed to be there, but Okada took it from before, made me appreciate that fact that both of these matches were back-to-back, because like I said, the 3 Don Callis members in back-to-back matches is kind of, this could be a little tough. This could kill the crowd, but it works in the long-term storytelling aspect. So this match was perfect. Absolutely nothing to say but positive things. It made me appreciate Jon Moxley even more.
Yeah, and I will talk a little bit more about Moxley when we get into the actual match with Okada, because I got a few things that I definitely want to say about him. But Tuck, that's something I actually didn't notice when I watched back on Sunday. When you were watching live, did you notice the continuity there between Okada and Fletcher in the corner and all that?
Yeah, I did, and I thought that was an interesting wrinkle. And I thought it was interesting when Okada ditched the screwdriver under the ring. I thought that was a little goofy, and I'm like, what's going on? I felt that I didn't realize it meant something at the moment, but as Fletcher started scrambling for it, I think that put it to me. I put the 2 and 2 together, and you make Fletcher lose a match he should have won, but it also, to me, made him look a little chicken shit because he was looking for it. And that brings me to my point of were there too many kickouts? Too many, I get fatigued with it sometimes. I don't know. Fletcher.
Can I elaborate on that?
Fletcher can take 17 DDTs now. It's going to take 4 Roman Reigns spears and America and Superman punches. It's just a lot to me.
There's something I want to add on to that, because that was one of my thoughts watching back on Sunday, is that AEW pay-per-views are great. We, like I said just a couple minutes ago, we get multiple match of the year candidates, but sometimes I get fatigued because their match styles are very formulaic. They're very similar. A lot of the really good matches in AEW follow that same pattern, where they're exchanging the finishers. And you could say this about any company, honestly. Some other companies are probably doing it too, but that is something I noticed with AEW. It gets to a point where I'm almost getting too much good wrestling to where I tune out for a little bit. And that's crazy, Ian.
Yeah, you almost kind of want to see
something
different.
Shit,
the match is already over?
Yes, a shorter match.
Which would honestly... We did get that a few times in the Continental Classic where it was, oh, okay, it's over. And that's
we need more of that.
It adds to that sports feel. But again, it's the pay-per-view. The issue with that idea is AEW's already gained that reputation of every single match. You know every guy is going to go all out for it. No pun intended. But you know you're going to get a 20-minute fantastic match out of every single match. So it's hard to do that now, especially when you have a guy like, say, imagine Okada versus Takeshita. You had an it's already over in 5 minutes. There'd be a lot of pissed off people. People want to see Takeshita versus Okada, which we're going to get it again. But.
Yeah, but like you could with a speedball and Ricochet or guys like that, just a quick roll up here and there. You got to change it up. I need a little bit of diversity in these matches. That's my only thing. And it is crazy. That's a crazy complaint when I'm saying there's too much good. Yeah. But it's true. Like even in movies, you don't want to just have too much of something. You got to space things out, let things breathe, and give people different things. That's my only critique when I watch AEW is that I feel like we're getting the same thing over and over and over again.
Well, it's funny you say that because it kind of reminds me of, if for any movie buffs out there, for like Avengers movies, especially early on, every single Avengers movie was the same exact thing over and over again. Hero rises up from out of nowhere. You had a bad guy, they loses, same exact thing. And then Avengers Endgame came out, and we had a bad ending. This was not good. Everybody talked about it. So I see what you mean. But again, it's hard to do that on a pay-per-view.
They're staying in their lane. I get it. Yeah, that's the AEW lane. And that's why I always will say they are an alternative. They are not competition. I just want to get that straight within everybody watching this. The Fed's not going anywhere. I'm sorry, Kind. WWE is not going anywhere anytime soon.
I will say that one, the Moxley-Fletcher match, was the longest match of the night at 23:33.
I was going to guess 26. Okay.
Yeah, so 23:33. And then you've got other 13, 12 and a half, 18. So
they like to hang in that range, the 12 to 18.
They're giving everyone 12 plus.
Not everybody needs that, in my opinion. It's what I'm trying to get at. Like this tag match, for example. Good usage of a Chicago street fight, and I think these stipulations are great for matches where you probably know who the winner is going to be. Like going into this match, Tuck, I think we probably all assumed FTR was going to retain, so why not do a street fight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can go.
I mean, I think it was a perfect kind of booking for this match because, again, I don't think this is over. I think everybody here has watched when they first went off and fought each other on Collision. It was FTR versus Bang Bang Gang. It wasn't the same pairing, but I think Jay White was involved with that first match. But they're trying to re-spark something and try to keep this feud going. And the issue with it is everyone was anticipating, the return of Colton, the return of Jay. But we didn't get that. And it was a pretty clean loss for a Chicago street fight. So the momentum is kind of out for this feud. They needed something to happen here, and it didn't happen. It wasn't a bad match by any means. It was just It was just kind of like, okay.
There were no bad matches on this card.
No.
I wasn't disappointed with any of these matches. It's just like, FTR was going to retain, always in my mind. And I don't watch Collision, so that's another reason why I'm probably not as invested. And it goes back to me with wanting the Hurt Syndicate to have a better run with those tag team titles. I feel like they got stripped of those titles a little too soon. That's just me, though.
I would tend to agree. We did get a good. I'm sure
you got Brodito out of it.
We did get Brodito out of it. I was going to say, with this match, we did get a good table bump with Stokely. That was absolutely hilarious. I don't know if you saw that clip.
That was a table scoot, dog.
It was hilarious.
He booped it. He didn't. What the heck?
The table just slowly falling on him was perfect.
Maybe that could be what I can get into. Like, I'm thinking if I'm going to go train, I don't think I could be a wrestler because I'm too tiny.
You could be a manager.
Maybe I could be the next Stokely Hathaway.
You'd be a good chicken shit manager.
I think I could be, because a lot of people like to boo me already. So
yeah, I hate you, so you just give me more.
You don't hate me. That's a lie.
Actions speak louder than words, homie.
You're here every week. You wouldn't hate me
That is
if
true.
you were here every week.
That's a good point.
So,
Fair point.
I don't think we need to touch on anything else from that match, though, right?
Nah, I got nothing else for it.
Other tag match, Babes of Wrath, who have become one of my favorite acts in wrestling. Honestly, I love Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale together. And I love the fact that they won this match because Mercedes and Athena do not need those tag team titles. And the Babes of Wrath just won it. So what better way to get your first pay-per-view title defense over two incredible names like Mercedes Moné and Athena?
Yeah, a couple things from this match was on paper, everyone's like, oh, Mercedes and Athena should win this title. No, they're not a tag team. They have bigger fish to fry with the singles titles that they're holding, and I think that's where they're going to go with it because we had Mercedes get pinned. Mercedes pinned.
Yeah.
Which was kind of, I think it was a roll-up, if I'm not mistaken. So you have some feud boiling there, and I'm excited for that match because it's going to be fantastic. My only thing is Again, it's kind of early, but throwing the tag titles on Harley Cameron, Willow Nightingale could hold any title and any company, and she'd be fantastic. It's the question mark of Harley Cameron is tough because there's been a few times during matches in the past probably 2 months, and I'm like, ooh, come on, Harley, you got to be better than that.
She's going to get left behind. She doesn't have the motor that most of the women do in that AEW.
And she's new. She's very much new to wrestling. So, yes, but also throwing the tag titles on her is relying on Willow to really carry it. Both of them have the characters. I was
going to say Harley at least provides the character in this.
Oh yeah.
Because you could make a case, I think, Tuck, for Harley Cameron to be one of the most improved in 2025.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I like Babes of Wrath. I picked them to win because it didn't make sense. So, like you pointed to, it being a resume builder, it didn't make sense for Mercedes and Athena to win the tag title. Like it would for Mercedes,
well, she's starting to lose them now, isn't it? Isn't that the gimmick now?
But I think the spiral has begun. But I like Harley Cameron. I think she's her or Maxine Dupree most improved. I don't know.
I like that.
Maxine Dupree's on a heater too, but says a lot about Harley Cameron.
It does. She's had a great 2025, and Mercedes now, like you alluded to, probably going to be in that spiral. But I think the spiral will lead to her eventually getting the AEW women's title, though. Like, she'll lose all the titles and then finally get the world title, if that makes sense.
It has to, yeah.
It's got to be the Vision, right?
No, the Vision's in another company.
That's true. Jesus Christ, Kind. I don't see that happening. I don't see Bayley going over to AEW.
I thought she signed a long-term contract, too.
Oh, I did not see that. No, I did not see that. Tuck, do you know anything about Bayley's contract situation?
No.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
I think
Fightful. So
yeah, we don't need to give them your money.
Yeah.
Instead, we'll take your money though, guys. Go to the onmarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Use promo code 2025.
Bayley's contract is set to expire at the end of 2026.
So it is a possibility. So it's not crazy for him to say that.
No, it's not. But I don't. Bayley should not leave. She doesn't need to.
I mean, first off, I hate how Kine now refers to them as the Fed. Every 2 to 3 weeks, he changes companies that he likes, and
with his profile picture being seen.
And also John Cena. It was meeting John Cena this year and spending money at WWE shows. But I digress. He is right here. They did have that schizophrenic character going on with Bayley, and then they kind of just ditched it out of nowhere.
They're just putting more time between personality shifts.
I guess so. I don't know, man. I don't. It'll be interesting to see where Bayley goes in 2026. I wouldn't count it out that she would go to AEW because that is her best friend, right?
Supposedly.
Over there, Mercedes. Yeah. Another matchup here: Darby Allin versus Gabe Kidd. Your typical Darby Allin match. See, once again on this podcast, I've stated numerous times the gory stuff, the violence isn't my lane. It's not my cup of tea. And honestly, Tuck, when Darby's not even involved in any title scene, I'm disinterested in Darby Allin. These side quests do nothing for me personally. That's just me. The match itself, fine.
Yeah, I had to keep Augie busy during this one.
You do what I'm saying this?
There were 2 Moxley matches on the card, and there wasn't a ton of blood other than this one. So, yeah, Darby Allin, this is one of those ones that I thought maybe didn't have to be on the card.
This is like the vintage AEW bloody match that you got to have on the card, right, Ian?
Yeah, and it's hard to keep Darby Allin, especially when he's healthy, off of a card. I mean, it is probably a good idea to do that every now and then, but I see what they're trying to do with Gabe Kidd. They're trying to actually, he's been so in and out. He's technically a Death Rider, and it's you have to choose a lane. If I were to talk with Gabe Kidd face to face, first of all, I'd probably shit myself.
I was gonna say,
and second of all, like you got to choose at some point. Like Will Ospreay, I think did it really well when he first came into AEW and showed his face. Like, I'm in New Japan right now, but I will wrestle in AEW like once a year. And now Gabe Kidd shows up for a promo and then on a Dynamite and then does one match and then is gone for a while. And
that's
you just
what I
don't
hate.
hear from him. It's tough because you want. I like Gabe Kidd. I like what he's doing with this character. You don't really see it that often. The dude's a genuinely terrifying dude.
oh, he's a killer.
And I think it could do wonders in some company. It's just we need to see him 24/7.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. Like if he's on television every week, I would maybe understand Gabe Kidd more and be more emotionally invested. But Tuck, was there really any reason for us to care about this match? Like, what do I really want Darby Allin to win? Not really.
No, I'm not tuned in as routinely. I'm sure some people really loved it. This was the only match I really had to parent through. So I think my perspective's changing a little bit, but.
Well, you didn't have to parent through the Mixed Nuts Mayhem tag match because this honestly is one of the highlights of World's End for me. This is the shit that I love when AEW leans into the fun side of professional wrestling, the stadium stampedes, if you will. This is kind of like another variant of that. You get Roddy having a spot with his wife, Marina Shafir, in the middle of all of it. Just good fun all around. The conglomeration celebrates after. This is the stuff that I like on my wrestling PLEs.
Well, and I think it was a smart choice to put it where they put it, right after the war between Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd, and right in front of 3 title matches, big matches. Right in front of the Women's World Title, Continental Title, and AEW World Title match. Let you take the emotional breaks off or the super heavy technical wrestling hat on. I loved the Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm of it all.
Oh yeah, that too was fun.
And it was it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's really much to add.
There really isn't. Yeah.
It was cool seeing the Death Riders in this light form, if per se. I think we're kind of past the serious Death Riders, especially with Jon Moxley. That is until they inevitably kick Jon Moxley in the nuts.
Yeah, you know that's it.
But this was very fun. There's not much else to add.
You could tell Kine really is an AEW guy now because this one was just the standard match to him. But to us, it meant something. See, everything means something different, to other people. Let's move on. Let's go to Statlander versus Jamie Hayter. She retained her title. This match was good. I wasn't too thrilled because I feel like both their styles are very similar. And when you have 2 women that work similar styles, it's hard to have a really good match. But they made it work. I think the real story here, Ian, is that Jamie Hayter's probably has gripe now after this one because of the finish. I think we're probably going to get a rematch in the near future between these 2.
Yeah, and I hope something starts cooking for them in the feud department because it's really hard to choose a side, which isn't usually a bad thing in wrestling. It's nice to have 2.
It's another problem I have at AEW, the faces versus faces and the heels versus heels.
Yeah, it's 2 fan favorites going against each other, which is really hard to pull off, and it kind of a once in a miracle that it actually does work. This is one of those cases, it's like you have kind of 2 badass girls that you want to cheer for because they're good at wrestling, but also...
Who do you cheer for?
Yeah, it's hard to cheer for one side, so it kind of puts the crowd in a really bad spot.
Crowd was dead for this one, too. You could tell.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that the Mixed Nuts Mayhem match was right before, because that was the loudest I think the crowd was. Yeah.
See what works, people? People will make fun of it, just like with the Jey Uso entrance. That gets the people going.
Yeah, it's all about the people in the house. So, this match was okay. I'm hoping either we get Jamie Hayter just full on heel because the babyface doesn't work. Jamie Hayter's a really good heel. We saw that with Britt Baker when those 2 were paired up with each other. I don't know.
Is Britt just done too? Like,
She's on the roster.
I got swerved. I found an AI post or like a fake post of like Britt Baker returning and like a Panda Statlander. So I was like, did I missed that when I was watching the entire show? Like I had to go back and re-Google it because when I saw it I think I saw it on Twitter. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, where Britt Baker? Where has she been?
honestly, where's Camille been? Where's Wardlow been?
Acting.
Is Wardlow acting too?
They're all doing the gladiator stuff.
Oh, okay. Because there's a lot of names out there that like people were trying to speculate for returns at World's End because it was the last show of the year. But to my knowledge, we didn't get any returns, right, on this pay-per-view?
Nothing.
Maybe they're saving it. I don't know what they're saving it for. What's their next pay-per-view?
Well, we have New Year's Bash coming up this week, which they usually treat that with one return. So I wouldn't be shocked if we get a big one this Wednesday.
Huh, I didn't know they were doing a big show coming up, but I guess that makes sense because, Wednesday's New Year's Eve, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then do you know what their next pay-per-view is, Tuck? Is it Revolution,
Revolution.
right? Yeah, isn't it usually Revolution time in February? Which, to me, I think Revolution has basically become their best show usually.
We've got Revolution March 15th.
March.
Grand Slam Australia Saturday, the February 14th.
Oh, that's in February. Okay.
Yeah, and they've got a house show.
Is that the one they rescheduled? Because weren't they supposed to do the Australia Grand Slam last year? Or did they do it
No,
last
they did
year?
it. They did it last year.
Okay.
They did it. Yeah, you've got Maximum Carnage Dynamite Collision January
that's right.
14th.
They always got their theme. I mean, NXT's got New Year's Evil coming up. I'm just trying to think of like all the
You've got
wrestling stuff coming up.
Revolution March 15th, Dynasty April 12th, and All In London in August is their
That's their stretch there in the
scheduled
summertime.
one. Yeah.
It's not a bad stretch.
March, April, August.
Interesting.
There's
And
gotta be May, June, July. They'll probably throw something in there, right?
I don't know. I feel like they treat All In now like as their WrestleMania to build, towards it more.
Which is kind of crazy because World's End more feels like a season finale than All In
Sure.
does. All In might All In's kind of like the climax of the year.
I think it is. All In I treat as their WrestleMania
I would agree. Yeah, I do as well.
because they're usually running the
Yeah,
biggest
2
houses
seasons,
too.
realistically. World's End closes
Yes.
and opens a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. Reset button. Let's see how this looks on our way to All In. Boom, boom. Yeah, I think it's good.
Well, you have to have those reset points because there's no off season. It's professional wrestling. Like WWE's, you would say is probably just SummerSlam and the Rumble, correct? That's their 2 launching points right there. And then they definitely don't put the pedal to the metal during the winter time. They're like, you know what? Same main event. Recycling people within the Vision. And like tonight, we're going to turn on Raw here in 20 minutes, and I guarantee you the Vision is going to kick things off. That's what pisses me off with the WWE is they get into these formulaic patterns, and it's excusable because they know people are always going to watch, and nothing's ever going to change, and they are not dying once again.
I won't be watching.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to really struggle now that you're not watching.
I mean, you could tell them, I guess.
Well, don't tell them because we're a WWE Shop affiliate. Even though we don't plug that ever because I don't want to do the taxes with it. So don't use our affiliate. It's just something to brag on the resume with. Nothing. You know what? Speaking of AJ Lee, I'm totally going to ignore the fact that there's a comment here. AJ Lee was probably my favorite moment of 2026.
That was a wild transition, but yes.
Well, there's the name popping up. I feel like we don't talk about that enough. I feel like that was the best moment in professional wrestling this year was her return. For me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
For me.
historically on paper, it has to be because also like no one thought that was going to happen. You know
Right.
what? Let's save that talk for the end.
Oh,
Because we
okay.
only got 2 matches left.
We only got 2 more matches to talk
Yeah.
about. New Continental Champion and Jon Moxley, who defeated the former champion in Okada. Once again, another great match for both these guys. So not only did they have one earlier, but they both put on 2 really good matches at World's End. And credit to Jon Moxley, man, because this is a guy who we talk about all the time. Maybe he should get a vacation. Nope. You're going to the Continental Division. You're going to win the tournament. And we're going to turn you babyface because that's at least the vibe that I got afterwards, Tuck, is that this ain't the same Jon Moxley we saw last year. This is a brand new Jon Moxley that we're seeing in 2026.
Yeah, and now there's a little intrigue on my behalf behind it, just to see what it looks like compared to some of the Death Rider stuff that took a really long time, in my opinion.
They dragged it, dude.
Yeah, and they definitely put an exclamation point on it, but interested to see where the Moxley stuff goes. They've got such a huge roster, and he's continuing to be in the picture. I think he had a great night.
According to John, he's not the champ. Everyone in the Continental Classic is. I'm sure he's holding the belt still. But yeah, it was kind of like John Cena when he turned babyface. He just went out there on a SmackDown and was like, all right, I'm a good guy now. John Moxley wins the Continental Classic. All right. I'm all right with this company. I'll fight for it. I think it's just cool, though, that John Moxley has really just become the ace of AEW, truly cementing himself as the GOAT of all elite wrestling.
If there is a Hall of Fame for AEW, John Moxley should be the first inductee because he's carried the company at many times. Yes, Kyle?
No, I'm just saying he's the number one guy, yeah.
As per him winning the championship and him kind of turning face, everyone's like, oh, why does he care about the AEW now and showing off the title? I saw a good breakdown of it, and it was somebody's interpretation of it. Obviously, the way John Moxley kind of displays his stories is he doesn't tell you on paper, like, this is what I'm talking to you about. The way somebody explained it was the entire vision behind the Death Riders was, at the time, the AEW was not where it was before when it first started. AEW at the beginning was all about wrestling. It was all about being really good at wrestling and putting on good shows. And at the time when John Moxley took the title, AEW was kind of at a low point in the lifespan of the company and took that title and didn't want to show it off. And now after the Continental Classic, after how good this Continental Classic was, John Moxley is supposed to be understanding like, oh, the company's finally back to where it was and where it's meant to be. That's why he's showing off the title. And I appreciate those kind of stories because, again, it's not comic book kind of storytelling where it's this is step one. This is why this is happening. This is why this is happening. You can make your own interpretations of it. And it's hard to appreciate for the common audience, especially with John Moxley's approach to promos. You kind of really have to think about him.
He's unorthodox. That's just all it is.
Exactly.
He's different.
He is. So, yeah, I think this Continental Classic was perfect.
Well, and the good thing, too, with him becoming the champion now is you can line up so many up-and-coming heels to go up against John Moxley, and they'll be made by having these matches with him. Because I'll tell you what, AEW right now is very deep in baby faces. Mm-hmm. I think they still, other than MJF and maybe Samoa Joe, need another top heel. So if this run can bring us another top heel into AEW, I think that heel adversary should be the one, whoever they choose, to take that title off John Moxley. And you might have an idea. Is it Hobbs?
No, Claudio Castagnoli. Because I think this is going... I think the Death Riders are going to implode. Obviously, they were all very much behind John Moxley. They didn't say anything, but they're, good job, good promo. Way to thank the people. But I think something's cooking to the point of Claudio's next in line to kind of basically take John Moxley's head off and take reign. So I think the crowd is at a point where with John Moxley that they appreciate him, and he is babyface. He hasn't done a full heel turn. He didn't have to have a giant feud or didn't have to slap somebody, kick somebody in the nuts to get there, but I think it's perfect.
That's also a good shout, too, with Kyle O'Reilly being like the person that actually could get to John Moxley and defeat John Moxley, that maybe he's the one that takes a title kind. That actually would make a lot of sense. I wouldn't hate that whatsoever, but I guess time will tell. But another good match for Moxley and Okada. Good run for Okada with the Continental title. But the main event was that fatal four-way for the AEW World title, and we have a new AEW champion. All is right in the world because, let's be real, when MJF is AEW champion, I think AEW is at its best. Now, the match itself, good. A lot of back and forth there at the end. Things were getting very interesting. I had no idea who was going to win. But ultimately, Tuck, I think they made the right call going to MJF here because, like I said a little bit ago, you have so many baby faces that you can line up against MJF now, and we're eating for the rest of 2026.
Yeah, I agree with that specific point. I'm excited to see MJF. I'm hoping it's not a lot of the same. But in the interim, if he starts off that way, we've been missing it. And I really enjoy MJF. And like you said, line him up, knock him down, or maybe don't. I don't know.
You think you just have another long reign?
No, if he doesn't knock him down, line up the baby faces for MJF to knock him down. You can continue to keep this world champion scene among the four if you had it, if you had the belt rotate a little bit too. So I'm interested. I think that's a storyline to look at in 2026 is what does the world title scene look like in AEW with the handful of strong candidates they have at the top.
And there's one that's not even healthy right now.
Yeah, and that is
Will Ospreay. I think he's the one that's going to take it off MJF.
Yeah.
Like that has to be the ultimate goal here is all in MJF, Will Ospreay.
Yeah, let MJF have some time with the title.
100%.
Because the title, like genuinely, that world title had a huge year this year. In hindsight, the Samoa Joe run was meh, but at the time, I thoroughly enjoyed it because seeing a heel Samoa, just having heel Samoa Joe with a title is always awesome promos. The way they did it is okay, I guess, but now you're moving on to another heel, and not even like a full-on heel. Like the fans actually want to hear MJF talk, and he's not going full shit heel with MJF this time around. Like he's kind of always altered it a little bit. Now he's just attacking the wrestlers, not necessarily the crowd. So the crowd doesn't get giant moments of booing MJF. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens because I swear I don't think any of these feuds are, you could say, are book closed.
No. And I think Tuck was kind of alluding to that, maybe a different iteration of a match at Revolution. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a triple threat of sorts that they can work in there. Hell, add a stipulation to it. Let's get ladders involved, maybe. I can't tell you the last time have they ever even done a ladder match for the world title? I feel like they've done ladder matches, but has there been one for the actual world championship?
I feel like Moxley and Jericho very early on.
Oh, yeah, you might be right. And that's probably why I forgot about it, because it was Jericho related.
Which is fair.
That's how they had to start, though, right? You had to put the title on Chris Jericho. You weren't going to give it to Paige right away, who nobody knew.
Correct. But yeah, as for the match, it was meh.
It was solid.
It was solid. It's just the way they finished it. I get it. You want to have MJF win it in a chicken shit way, but also it was very unsettling. It was like, oh, that's it. Okay.
It's kind of how you want it to be, though. Right?
I know. It's just I wish Samoa Joe would have been able to put up a bigger fight because he felt kind of like
he looked like a bitch.
He just got thrown around by everybody, which kind of sucks.
But we know that's their big three right there right now. And then put Ospreay in the mix later when he's healthy. That's the big four, in my opinion. That's the pillars of AEW. But overall, I thought World's End was a good show. I'd probably give it a B. It wasn't their greatest pay-per-view by any means, but definitely no bad matches, I would say. Tuck, what would you give it on your scale?
No, that's where I was at too. B 85, 86 on the 100-point scale. No ladder matches for the world title. From what I can find. There was one for the TNT title, Cody and Sammy TNT title. That was dope.
That was really good. There was Brett Baker versus Thunder Rosa, right?
That was tables.
Oh, that was the tables. Okay. Yeah. Well, there was. Yeah, I think B plus is probably more fair kind. You're probably right. I was a little low on B.
I was going to say 88 to 89 B plus range,
which is great.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed every single match, but there was nothing that was like, oh fuck, I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life.
Exactly. But not every pay-per-view needs to be that way. Also, hi, Mom. Thanks for stopping by. And Dirk, I tell you all the time, Dirk says, one of these days, I'm going to figure out what days you were actually broadcasting. I just happened to be streaming, waiting for Monday Night Raw, and saw you guys were live. Well, the best way to do so, and I know you don't have these apps, Dirk, but IG, follow us there. That's how we keep you updated. Or just ask your son, even though he might not give you an answer either.
I was going to say, we could start talking about updates on Facebook, I think.
I do updates on Facebook. I just didn't do one for this week.
So, Dirk, in that case, turn on notifications on Facebook. I don't know if you could do that, but do that if you can. And then you'll be updated.
Oh, no, Dirk, that's a great name.
Well, anybody named Dirk sounds like a stand-up individual.
What a name, right? Dirk family.
Speaking of, I miss Christian Cage. I miss him.
Me too. I didn't even realize he was off TV. I miss Edge. Or, sorry,
Cool.
I missed Cope. What was your letter grade then? B plus, right?
Yeah,
Ian?
B plus. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. B plus from OTM, official grade for AEW World's End. The year is coming to an end. We are 10 minutes away from Monday Night Raw, so let's go back to what we kind of were talking about a little earlier. I mentioned the fact that AJ Lee's return was one of my favorite moments of 2025. And Tuck, if you were to look online, you would think it was the worst year in professional wrestling history, but I'm sure you had your fair share of moments that stood out to you this year. So why don't you share me a few of those?
Well, I think 2025 might be remembered for kind of the businesses. Like this was the year that I thought WWE turned the corner and the screws business wise, and things started dialing up. But SummerSlam was still affordable, and that's always a highlight of my year. SummerSlam weekend with the boys. But the Cena heel turn will be stamped. I saw it live. I was, not live on TV, not in person, but and then the other takeaway for me is like AEW becoming a better version of themselves compared to AEW trying to fight with WWE. I think AEW has established their lane. And I could see them growing back some of these dynamites in major markets to bigger venues too. So I don't know that this small venue run is going to continue through 2026.
That's a good point. Ian, what were some of your favorite moments this year in wrestling?
Obviously the heel turn for Cena was probably the most memorable. Obviously, it's hard to say that it's the most memorable out of the decade moment. But also some kind of little smaller ones that I personally enjoyed. I loved Brodito winning those tag titles. So unexpected. And I ended up falling in love with that tag team. So that was one of my personals, like, oh, that was fucking awesome. But also, I think the Continental Classic in itself, I thoroughly enjoyed. It made me appreciate more of what the Continental Classic actually is. Last year, I kind of got the idea of what they were trying to do with it. But I just kind of tuned in because like, oh, there's going to be good matches. Now I'm starting to put together like, oh, this is more like a sport, and that's kind of what AEW strives for in a way. So, Continental Classic, and then also Hangman beating Moxley at All In was another one that I could look back on and be like, that was a really cool moment because there was a lot of build up for it, and at the time, Hangman was the guy, and it was a really big moment.
Yeah, we get it, Chris. TNA will be supreme over AEW. He's commented it 3 times. I've heard that take so much in my life. It's not happening. And I watch TNA. I'm going to watch TNA, and I think there's great talent in TNA. There's great talent in multiple companies. You don't have to pick one specific company because, trust me, guys, the company doesn't care if you stay loyal to one company. You can watch. They just want your money. You could be fans of multiple brands because there is talent everywhere, including the independent wrestling scene. That's one of the things that I loved about 2025 is getting to go to independent wrestling shows, getting to work with Warrior Wrestling, for example, who we have a working relationship with and are the official sponsor of their next show. Those people are doing great things in the independent scene. Shout out to NXT. I think NXT had a really strong 2025 that does not get talked about because everybody wants to bring up the fact that NXT 2.0 happened, which it did. We can't really ignore history, but they recovered and they found their sweet spot and they are making superstars that you saw on the final match card of John Cena's career.
Yeah.
Obviously, John Cena was the focal point of this year for me, being that John Cena is my GOAT, my favorite wrestler of all time, getting to see him wrestle 3 separate times in person. One of those matches at SummerSlam being one of the best matches of the year with him and Cody. That is what's going to stick in my head. Obviously, getting to go on those trips. Man, that SummerSlam trip this year, Tuck, might have been one of my favorites in New Jersey. We did a lot.
We did a lot, and we had a lot of fun, and we had a little bit of adversity that we were able to navigate through.
That's true.
I think we all had beds. That was nice. And so I'm excited for this SummerSlam. Could be fun in Minnesota. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time for 2026. A lot to look forward to. Ian, would you have something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, Chris Gallegos, welcome to the banned list, and your comments were removed because what do we preach here? Stop with the negativity in wrestling. We're all here to enjoy it. So, Chris, thanks for coming. We don't want to see you again in that chat. We'll see.
Wow, Ian just made an executive decision. I was like, what? Somebody got banned. How about that, Tuck?
Just annoying.
Just striking someone down with an energy sword.
I was going to say, like, Kine has comments like that all the time, but we don't ban him.
we know Kine. We know who Kine is.
It's part of his gimmick, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, Kine, you're right, and I'm glad you actually said this. NXT 2.0 actually did have some good moments.
To be fair, that's when I watched the most.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it's just the wrestlers at the time. It was such a fresh restart.
They were green.
It was so, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah. A lot of figuring out. And look at all those guys now, though. You got people that are in the Wyatt Six. You got Braun Breaker.
If you think about it from a
Carmelo.
professional sports angle, there are teams that completely hit the reset button, go hyper young, and reestablish. You think of the Cubs when they won the World Series, right? So,
I don't.
Well, you will, and go Bears. So
Bears.
Da Bears.
Yeah, you just made the list. I don't know if we have that sound effect, but
Is the list? That's the list.
it's just Chris. I was gonna give Chris a chance, but I mean, it was just too much TNA for you, Ian. Is that what it was?
Just nonstop. Didn't catch a hint of, hey, shut up.
Here's the thing: we do get along with most people that are here, but once again, we're not with the tribalistic bullshit. So if you're gonna bring that our way, you're blocked. See ya. But as you can see, the background has changed. The MVM title is behind us. This reign for this week really doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things because we're gonna start the tally over again starting next year, starting next week. But this person that is the MVM this week is also the two-time reigning MVM of the year. He is the MVM once again. It is Kine. Good job, Kine. There was no competition.
Yeah,
There was no competition.
Yeah,
couple late
congratulations.
run-ins, but
DC Hendricks made it.
DC's in the house, which shout out to DC, shout out to the WrestleHolics, and shout out to the Main Event Wrestling Network. Got to get that in there. I think it was just because NXT went from underground, cool and black, to bright colors. Yeah, that could have been it too. And shout out to the WrestleHolics too, who also reposted the stream at the very end. Why do people always catch us at the very end? You guys notice that?
well, they're getting into WWE mode socially. Maybe
You're right.
we're in that like waiting.
Watching
period.
Raw.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready to go flip it on me. And
You guys got the loading screens up?
No, I'm in a room. The TV's
Me
behind me, so you can.
I don't either. But Tuck or Ian, you got any final remarks before we sign off for the final time of 2025?
Yeah, it was a hell of a year, especially not just for wrestling in general. I think there are a lot of monumental things happen in wrestling, and we could look back on 2025 as a historic year, but also historic year for the Main Event Wrestling Network and for OTM. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but yeah, we're kind of sponsoring a pretty big independent wrestling show in the next 2 weeks. So,
January 16th.
yeah, be expecting some pretty cool content coming from that.
Maybe a vlog.
Maybe a
No.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
We'll have a table there. Tickets are still on sale. Warrior Wrestling presents Ice Cold January 16th live from Half Acre Brewing. That is on a Friday, so call off work. Come hang out with OTM because I heard Malort's going to be there. I heard there's going to be pizza there. And OTM. That's the Holy Trinity, boys. Don't drink Malort, though. Tuck, have you ever tried Malort?
It's not.
I have not.
Don't do it. It's a Chicago drink. It's not great.
It's a Chicago drink.
Kine's right. It is a Chicago staple. Happy New Year to you as well, Brittany and Tucky.
Well, just one more thing, just really quickly. Brittany's mom surprised me by buying a OTM coffee mug, so be like Brittany's mom.
Yay!
Jenny.
There we
Shout
go.
out Jenny. Shout out Jenny.
Big shout out to Jenny. Big shout out
Tuck,
to
send us
Jenny.
home.
Big shout out to everybody that tuned into the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast in 2025. Man, it's been a hell of a year. And 2026, we're going big. You'll have to tune in 2026 to hear what we mean about that. Just go to 2025 on the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. It's going to save you 10%. And make sure that you check out the Main Event Wrestling Network. It's not just us, people. X, IG, at Pod on the Mark, at Main Event _net, the Main Event Wrestling Network, one of the greatest wrestling networks of all time. We've got other podcasts. You got Wrestling Junkies, you got IW Guide, you got the NXT Night Shift. We got all corners of professional wrestling being covered by people that enjoy professional wrestling. pretty simple. And so thank you for all of you guys. Currently 40 people watching. That's kind of crazy.
It's raw time. That's why.
Thank you guys for tuning in and hopping on board. Hit that like and subscribe button. We have passed 500. I can't wait for Ian to do a 24-hour stream. But
you lied, Ian.
He's using
You lied.
He's fake juice Garavelio. I'm excited to chat with you guys next week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.